What's up guys, Julian here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to make modern tech house like Michael Bibi, Cloonee, Repopulate Mars style. You know, that very simple but super effective and powerful groove style. Also kind of like solid grooves, the label as well. As usual, you can get the full project files, samples, MIDI presets. Everything from this video is available right at the top of the description. Definitely go grab that. It is a great way to support me and also support yourself making your best music. If you're a patron on my Patreon, check there because it's already available as well. And yeah, let's dive into the video. So, we're at 127 BPM. And the first thing we have up here is actually these three sort of like melodic elements. Not really melodic because you don't really have too much melody going on with this type of a track. But these are kind of just like the things that are sitting on top of the main groove, right? Like you have your kick and your bass and all the drums. And that's kind of just steadily going. And then these are going to be the things that pop in and out on top of all that.
Keep on loving me. Keep on loving me.
So yeah, it's a very simple thing, you know, it's not really too much going on. But what's happening is you have this like main steady groove with the drums. And that's dope, but it's kind of just in one place, right? Like it's one thing. You need contrast. Like everybody who says house music and techno and all that are super repetitive, they're right. But what makes it work is you have this stuff that's really repetitive. And if you only have that, then yeah, it gets kind of boring. This stuff that I'm showing you right now, that's what's going to be the contrast to that main groove. And that's the idea. You need something in there that is just not kind of like that steady groove to kind of keep it moving. Otherwise, yes, it becomes very repetitive and boring. And now, with this style, these are going to be very simple, right? Like in this case, it's just three. So we have this little like sine wave thing. This is just operator. You can see it's literally just a sine wave. And then I have the glide on. You see the voices are on one, so it's monophonic. And then we have a glide. And then really it's just the notes. It's the way that it's going like, whoa. Like that. Right, very, very simple stuff. But it's just adding. Like it makes it this very interesting little like, whoa. And that sits really nicely over the groove. You want things that aren't going to clash with what's already happening in the drums and the bass line. Then we have this thing. Just like a little orchestra stab with a bunch of delay on it. And a vocal. And with the vocal, you still want to make sure the vocal's in tune. A lot of people, I think with this style, because you can't hear the pitch of the bass so easily, think you just drop a vocal in and it's good. But if you listen to the bass, like if we take this filter off and pitch it up, see, it still works musically, so you gotta make sure you do that. You know, even though you can't always hear the pitch of that bass, do what I just did. Pitch it up and listen to it with the vocal and pitch the vocal until it's in key, because you really need to make sure this is in key. And the vocal just has a little bit of delay on it. And yeah, so that's it for those sort of like top elements. But again, that's probably more important than just understanding how to make like a good groove, is understanding that you have the groove and then these elements on top are what's going to keep it moving. So then we have the low end. So we have first our bass line, which is made of two elements. So we have this very, I won't say busy bass line, but kind of like just a really nice groove. Which if you look at this, we're in the key of D sharp, and we're literally just using the root note and the fifth. But it's this like glidey bass line, and it just creates a nice groove. And then I have this little bass kick, which kind of adds a note in between. Now, this is a very interesting bass line between the two different sounds and the really like moving, gliding pattern, you'll notice that there's a lot going on there. And that's because, if you don't, like without that, there's not really much else going on in the track, right? So you can have a lot going on with the bass line, but still keeping it very, very simple. Not that many notes in the scale either. Like this is just 2 notes across some different octaves. And that's what's going to create that movement in the track. Now, for the actual bass sound, this is made with Operator. And what it is a saw wave and a square wave. So there's the square wave, and then the saw wave is an octave down. So it's this very fat sound, right? But then when you low pass it, you still get a lot of harmonic content. But you also get a lot more of just that fat bass, which is always there, but you're just not hearing it as much because the mids and highs are a lot louder without the filter. So then we're just subtracting some stuff and getting down to just those low frequencies. And then that's just being sidechained to the kick. You really don't need much other processing on this if you turn it up right and just get a solid sound to start with. Then we have the kick, which is 2 layers. So yeah, pretty punchy kick. It's my patented kick layering method where you take an EQ 3 on 1 and it's just the lows. Right? Because you can hear this kick didn't really have the mids and highs as much. So we're taking just the lows, and then this one we're taking the mids and highs. And there we go. And if you start with 2 good samples, right? These are both like very high quality samples which I've layered together and put some time into. And then you layer those, you don't need all that extra processing because you just have 2 solid things fitting into 2 different ranges in the frequency spectrum. And it just works. And then on the group here of all these low end elements, you can see there's also no processing either. Don't really need it. So then we have this main hi-hat, which is 2 layers. Right? And the idea is this is kind of like a smaller hi-hat. Like it's more like a shaker, more like mid-rangey. It's not like a big open 909 or anything like that. But that's what works really well for this groove. And the way you make the smaller sound sound really big is just with really good layering. We have some background hi-hats. See those do a bit of call and response. We also have these background percussions here. And you notice with this style, it's not like right in your face, right? It's just a little bit of these. You really don't need too much of these going on. It's a little bit more minimal. Then we have this clap. Right, just like a nice punchy house clap. There's this noise which kind of goes into the clap. Right, just like a little subtle thing. This is just some white noise with a bit of attack, and then a high pass filter. And then finally we just have a little bit of live percussion to add a bit more organic groove to the whole thing. Now it still works without this too. And the idea is that maybe you would have, like in the structure of your track, it would start out like this. And then you could bring in the live percussion because it works with or without it, but it just adds that extra organic element and kind of like some more movement and a little bit more going on in the track to keep it exciting. You can still get that really clean groove without it too. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full project file, samples, MIDI, presets, everything from this video is available right at the top of the description for just $5 on my website. Definitely go grab that. It's got some really high quality stuff in there to go and make your best possible music at a very accessible price. This also really helps support me. I don't make a whole lot just off of YouTube, but with these sample packs, I'm able to keep bringing you guys new videos every single day on stuff like this. And yeah, thank you so much for all the support, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video.